All right, now let's go ahead and get into the title of this episode today, which is But Ma, That's My Favorite Crime Movie. And we will be discussing two movies where a common genre they had is crime. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this bad boy. Let's go ahead and get into the first movie we have here. And lights, camera, action. Pookie with yo funky black ass. That quote is by Nino Brown, who is played by Wesley Snipes. And this movie was released March 8th, 1991. The writers we have are Thomas Lee Wright, who also wrote The Last of the Finest. And then we have director Mario Van Peebles, who directed Armed and the movie Rappin'. Okay, let's get into the summary. So, welcome to New Jack City. We get introduced to Nino Brown, who's played by Wesley Snipes, and Duh Man, played by Bill Nunn, who are basically holding a man off of a bridge, who's like basically dangling off a bridge, and Duh Man is holding him. And this is because this man has, well, two things. He's not been having any of Nino's product or the money. So it's like there's no product and I don't even have no money after not seeing no product. So what's really good? And so we can assume that basically he was supposed to be selling for Nino, but something went wrong somewhere and he came up short. And so now he's going to come up dead because Nino is definitely not taking any prisoners. He's playing no games. So we instantly get that Nino is the man in charge, and that he's running games. So they end up dropping the man off of the freaking bridge. Then we go to Pookie, played by Chris Rock, who is trying to sell to Scotty Appleton, played by Ice-T. And Pookie basically gives Scotty his price of like his drugs that he's selling. And Scotty tries to negotiate the price. And Pookie basically says, well, let me see what you got, right? Let me see the money. Let me see the money. And when Scotty shows him, Pookie snatches the money and runs off. And then a chase ensues between the two around the town until Scotty ends up catching up with Pookie at the park, and he ends up shooting him in the back of his ankle. And he ends up tackling him to the ground. And when he tackles him, he actually shows his badge and reveals that he's a cop. So then backup ends up coming and they arrest Pookie. Then we switch to Nino Brown and Dada Man, who go to pick up G-Money. And G-Money is actually played by Alan Payne. And he's just this real, like, animated, like, confident guy. And he pretty much ends up showing Nino this new drug. And he's like, dude, this drug is going to make us a whole bunch of money. And pretty much like Nino just hears him out, and Nino's like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Like, this is going to get us money. This is going to get us the women. Okay, cool. And he's like, I'll think about it. Then we end up going to this club where Nino goes to the back for a meeting. And he has basically all of his people that he normally works with, along with Kareem, who is played by Christopher Williams. And Nino's a little surprised that Kareem is there, because he's like, you're this clean cut, like sophisticated banker, and what are you doing? Basically, like, we're these low lives, who sell drugs. And basically Kareem makes it a point like, hey, I could be at the bank making $800, but I'd rather be here with you making $8,000. And he said a week. So he's expecting to get bank off of, what they do. And I guess probably around town people have told him. So he's like, this is where the money's at. This is where the money resides, And so Nino ends up presenting the drug to everyone to let him know, basically, this is what we're going to start selling, and here's my next plans. And he shows a blueprint of these apartments called the Carter. And so he says, basically, we're going to set up a lab. We're going to start making the product. And then what confused me, because he said one place where we sell the product or make the product, another place where we get the money. And I didn't know if he meant like they were going to, I think what he meant was like, they're going to do pretty much all the production, selling it, all of that there. But then they're going to have another place for money, I guess, in case they got raided at the apartment. So I don't know. Maybe that's what that was. But anywho, so if you know, comment below for sure if you know how that works. Or if I just somehow missed something. So then pretty much, hello everyone, this is Bila Day. Sorry to interrupt this episode, but I just wanted to let you know that you were only listening to a preview. So if you would like to listen to the rest of this episode, then you can definitely go to the website butmathat'smyfavoritemovie.com, or you can go directly to any of these platforms for the full episode. We are available on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Castbox. Please don't hesitate to follow the podcast on any of those platforms so that you can be notified anytime a new episode is available. If you didn't know, our primary release day is every Thursday, but be on the lookout for bonus content as well. Now, if you've listened to the But Ma, That's My Favorite Movie podcast before, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. So if you have a friend that loves movies like we do, then definitely go ahead and share this podcast with them. And if you're a new listener and you do end up enjoying the podcast, well, then you go ahead and share with a friend too. Also, don't forget to like any of our social media pages so that you can also get updates and regular information about the podcast and about any of the episodes that are coming up. The social media sites that we have a presence on are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also, if you want to leave a review, whether constructive or positive, we'd appreciate that too. All right, go ahead and get over to one of the other platforms so we can finish getting into the rest of these movies.